Hello. Hey, you're watching the Hub Online Network. My name is, oh no, I did it again. You're not looking at the floor, you're looking at me. My name is Gareth. This is the Hub Online Network. It's April 14th, and I'm going to bring you your COVID-19 update for today. So I hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm also going to make it so we can, because we don't have Bonnie Henry's update yet, we're going to watch it together. Just the first few minutes so we can get the numbers. Let me bring this up here. Yeah, so while we're waiting for that to start up, I will give you guys the numbers from the world up to this point. And then when Bonnie Henry starts talking, we will go from there. So last week, when we did our show on Friday, we were looking at, where is it here? This one. Yeah, Friday. Okay, so we were looking at 1,634,650 cases worldwide, with 97,728 deaths. This is Friday morning. 39,598 people in the hospital and 369,928 people that have recovered. Now, looking at the new numbers. Also, Jessica is at home monitoring the chats. And if you'd like to call in, you can call 250-457-0538. And I'll answer your questions, comments, just talk with you over the phone. So now we're sitting at, we're almost at 2 million confirmed cases. So we're sitting at 1,995,245 cases worldwide, with a total of 130,051 people deceased, with 42,224 people in the hospital, and but 466,719 people that had recovered. So if that is you, congratulations for getting recovered, and I hope that you feel better. I'm sorry that I got to tell you guys the numbers every day, but that's what this update is all about. Now, again, we don't have the numbers for BC yet, and we will listen to Bonnie Henry when she becomes available. So, on a positive note, while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to talk to you guys about what I did over the weekend. And part of that is we did our garden. So, this is a picture of the space that we dug up. So if you can see the grass at the front, that's what it sort of looked like all through the dirt area. And I personally went through and hand twisted all the dirt out, and my wife my wife picked the grass, and I shook off the dirt, and we did that all weekend long. So thank you to my wife for really getting me off the couch to do that. She's been a great inspiration to me throughout this whole thing and keeping me busy and out of the house. We do have our plants started inside the house right now. We're calling it our Victory Garden, much like I said a few weeks ago. This is our World War II style Victory Garden. We're going to plant a whole bunch of stuff and hopefully share it around. But we didn't just do that. We also spent our time at home social distancing. Saturday we went into Kamloops to get some stuff that we needed, medical stuff that we needed. But when we got home, we watched a few movies. So we watched Ace Ventura, which is from the early 90s, and if you've never seen it, check it out. Pineapple Express. Now I have to say, I am not a drug taker. I never really have been, but for some reason, I find these pot movies really sadly entertaining, and Pineapple Express is no exception. So it's about people that, drug dealers and that sort of thing. I don't necessarily recommend it for everyone, but it's something that I watched. Although, if you've ever worked in the restaurant business, check out Waiting. It is on Netflix right now. That is a hilarious movie. If you're in for the other side, so if you're not a customer, you're serving people in the food industry, don't make those people angry with you, I tell you that much. Check out Waiting. And my wife got me to watch one episode of something, I think it's called The World at Night. That was a sad show. I was very surprised. There was a little bit about a little sea otter that was just a little baby sea otter, and all these things are trying to attack it and stuff. I did not enjoy that. Very stressful. But if that's up your alley, check that out. That is also on Netflix. Now, let's find out where we are at with our...
Good afternoon. I'm
Oh,
Adrian Dix,
hang on.
BC Minister.
Bonnie Henry is up.
Right is Dr. Bonnie Henry, BC's Provincial Health Officer. Both Dr. Henry and myself would like to thank the team that are helping deliver our updates to all of you. You may be most familiar with Nigel Howard, who's somewhere beside me over here, and who's often on camera, but he works regularly with Sarah McFadden, and then they make an amazing duo, and it's really a team effort, as I think Nigel would be the first to acknowledge. And to the entire team, Scott, Jennifer, Nicole, Tyler, Jessica, Susie, Piper, and Christy, thank you for all your work. We're honored to be here on the territories of the Lekwungen speaking people of the Songhees in the Esquimalt First Nation, and happy to introduce Dr. Bonnie Henry.
Thank you. Good afternoon. For today's BC COVID-19 update, I will report that we have 27 new cases who have tested positive in the province in the last 24 hours, bringing our total to 1,517. That includes 658 in Vancouver Coastal Health Region, 601 in the Fraser Health Region, 89 on Vancouver Island Health Region, 141 people in Interior Health, and 28 people in the Northern Health Region. We have, in addition, one additional long-term care facility outbreak reported in Vancouver Coastal Health in the South Granville Park Lodge. And as always, the list of the long-term care facility outbreaks will be included with the statement release. We have 20 other long-term care or assisted living facilities with ongoing active outbreaks, including 289 cases so far, 165 residents, and 124 staff. In addition, we have 3 additional positive cases at the nursery facility in the Interior Health, where we've had an ongoing outbreak and monitoring that Interior Health is doing with that premise, where we've had a number of temporary foreign workers who've tested positive. The facility outbreak at the Okanagan Correctional Center remains at a single positive case so far, but there's ongoing outbreak measures at that facility. And as we've talked about over the last few days, we have an ongoing and concerning outbreak at the Mission Medium Security Correctional Facility in the Lower Mainland. There are, as of official reports, there are 41 test positive cases. We know there's ongoing testing and cases pending, and we currently have 7 people from that facility who are in hospital in BC. In response to that, we've had an ongoing effort over this weekend to beef up the outbreak response, the infection prevention and control measures, and the investigation of the outbreak and management of the outbreak between the province, Fraser Health Authority in particular, and Correctional Services Canada. And as part of that, the hospital, Abbotsford Regional Hospital, has developed a dedicated unit to ensure that people can be safely and securely cared for, if need be, in hospital. And in addition, Fraser Health is looking at redeploying the mobile medical unit that we have in the province that is able to look after people in a hospital setting and include critical care if need be. This mobile medical unit has been set up at the Vancouver Convention Centre, but it will be redeployed to the Abbotsford area to provide additional support for this ongoing and very concerning outbreak that we have at the Mission Correctional Facility. In addition, right now we have 134 people in British Columbia who are hospitalized, and of those, 58 are in critical care ICU. We have an additional 3 deaths to report today, bringing our total of people who have died from COVID-19 in BC to 72. All 3 of these were deaths that occurred in our long-term care homes, 2 in Vancouver Coastal and 1 in Fraser Health. And our condolences and our thoughts and prayers go out to the families and the care providers for these people who have been affected by this virus.
Okay, so that's all we're going to listen to of that. So just to reiterate what Dr. Bonnie Henry just said, we have 27 new cases in BC, bringing our total to 1,515, which is 658 in Vancouver, 601 in Fraser Health, 89 in Vancouver Island, 141 in the Interior Health, which is a plus of 5 from yesterday. Just in the interior. I didn't catch what she said actually about the northern BC, but this all brings with us 3 new deaths in BC in care homes in Vancouver and Fraser Health. But there are 3 new cases in that nursery in Kelowna. Now, she talked about the Mission Correctional Facility. Now, we have an interview with our local Member of Parliament, Brad Viss, on our YouTube page currently. That went up last week. Him and I talk about that particular outbreak because it's within his riding. So if you'd like to know more about that particular situation, you can go check out that video. And I will have I'll have a clip from that tomorrow and a clip from an interview I did with Barbara Roden, the mayor of Ashcroft, in our show tomorrow as well. And thank you, Raven, for showing those numbers. I appreciate that. So yes, those are the numbers. What does it say for? Okay. Anyway, so moving on. Thank you, Dr. Bonnie Henry, although she'll never necessarily see this. Now, what I do love are the sign language people. They are doing a fantastic job. So I watched the Justin Trudeau speech in the morning, and I watched Bonnie Henry in the afternoon. And the 2 or 3 people that usually cycle around with these sign language groups are fantastic. So keep up the good work, those guys. You're doing awesome. Now, still going on with the numbers. About half of the total number of deaths that we have across the country are all from these care home centers. And there has been lots of stuff in the news, especially the federal news, that goes more in depth about the issues that they're having in these care centers, both with the types of care that these people are getting, the amount of staff that they're able to get. So there are lots of things that they are not fighting with, but trying to get through in this particular situation. But yes, just under half of all the deaths across the country are in long-term care facilities. Now, tonight, the Ashcroft Council is not letting spectators in. So if you are a person that is watching this live right now, send in your questions to me or to the village office now, so you can get your questions read to the council meeting. I will be there filming it, but there will be nobody allowed to be in the gallery. So keep that in mind. We already have gotten some questions brought in, so thank you to those people that have sent those. And make sure to get your questions in now. You can send me your questions to hon@ashcrofthub.com, and I will make sure that I get your questions read out tonight. The only real change to the businesses that are still open, not still open, everything really has stayed the same, other than the insurance place in Ashcroft. They are still open, but you can only call. So they will take your information over the phone. They will hook you up. They'll send you, if you have a new car, they'll send you new plates in the mail. So just like the Interior Savings next to them, they are now phone only. And they'll go get to you by appointment. So you phone in, they'll tell you another time to phone back, or they'll phone you back, and they'll get you hooked up that way. So keep that in mind. If you have insurance needs that need to get done, you have to do it over the phone. Something a little bit different, if you are part of the Ashcroft School District 74, they have a survey that you can do. So if you go to the SD74 Facebook page, you can get a link to this survey. So some of it's about the 2020-2021 budget for School District 74. And it's long form answers, so it's not multiple choice or anything like that. So some of the questions, for example, are: what feedback would you like the Board of Education to consider for the 2020-2021 budget? If the board has dollars available for one-time projects, what would not have ongoing costs? What suggestions would you have for the board to consider? So that's really the only. And then other questions or comments, your name and contact information. So those are the only two questions. And again, that is: what feedback would you like the Board of Education to consider for the 2020-21 budget? And if the board has dollars available for one-time projects that would not have ongoing costs, what suggestions would you have for the board to consider? And again, you can find that through their Facebook page or their website. So thank you to the school district for everything you are doing as well, because I'm sure that this can't be easy for them. Now, there's also a petition going around, if you're interested in getting a hold of a petition, to keep the slough open for public access. Right now, the way that it's going is the Ashcroft Terminal owns the land of the slough. So in the past, like I've been there myself, you can pull up to this area, walk over the train tracks, and walk down to the water. The Ashcroft Terminal has closed that off due to liability reasons, but there is a petition going around, and if Jessica can't find it, I will post a link in the comments of this video so you can check that out. It's change.org, and I believe I've seen this. This is on my wife's Facebook page, Jessica, if you can find that. What else do we got? So the call line. Let's talk about the call line again, because this is super important, and there's lots of influx going around this. So if you are someone that is in need of help, you are not alone. Please remember that you can call 250-457-3422. And this is for the COVID-19 helpline for Ashcroft, Cache Creek, and surrounding area. So if you are in need of food or supplies to be delivered, or if you are just at home alone and you need somebody to talk to, or if you need your mail picked up, or if you need spiritual support, call 250-457-3422. This group of people is able to help you in most any situation, because they have access to all of the groups that can actually help you. So for example, the other groups, the people that are involved with this are the Ashcroft and District Hospital Auxiliary. So if you're needing clothes, shoes, that kind of thing, we have access to stuff through the thrift stores, through that group. The Ashcroft Hub, Ashcroft Moving Forward, Better at Home, CRS, Elizabeth Fry, Food Bank, and Counseling is with them. The Equality Project, also for food needs and clothing needs and toiletry needs and that sort of thing. The Hospital Friends and Family, the Hub Online Network, MLA Jackie Taggart and MP Brad Viss, Sage Hills Church and St. Albans Church for your spiritual needs. Thank you to John and Martina for everything that you guys are doing. And the Ashcroft and Cache Creek councils, or villages I should say, and we have lots of volunteers also helping out with this. So if you know of yourself or somebody else that needs help, do not let people go through this all alone. Don't let people be too proud to accept help. This is not the time to be prideful. We're here to help. Let's get you some help. Let's do it. That being said, what I'm going to try and institute starting today for the next couple of days is, because there are certain groups that are mainly helping out with resources such as food, toiletries, clothing, etc. I would like to, and I'm going to be donating some money myself, get several of you, if you're watching, to please, I'm looking for $3 per family to donate to us, and we'll find a way. If you're interested in donating, please, again, you can email us here, and we'll find a way to get that $3. We're going to split it between Soups On, Equality Project, and E-Fry Society. So if that's you, get the word out. Again, we're looking for $3 per household. And if we can get, say, 100 households to give us $3, well, that's $300 that we can give to these organizations to help with the people that are in need and the people that might not be able to help themselves in this particular situation. So please, again, email me or comment on this video, and we'll see if we can't get hooked up that way. So thank you. Now, moving on. Talked about that. Okay, so this is interesting. I was reading an article today that heat does not stop the spread of COVID-19. What a lot of people are hoping is that the summer will kill off the virus a bit so we can get back to normal. Heat has nothing to do with it, apparently. So remember to keep up your physical distancing measures. Everybody's hoping to have the economy up and going here in a while. Nobody's giving exact dates right now because we have no idea how long this is going to take. But if you're thinking that the summer is going to bring some kind of reprieve, the only thing that's going to really slow this thing down is that physical distancing. So just keep that in mind. Now, so we're having the Ashcroft Council meeting tonight, but Cache Creek has canceled their meeting due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They're citing that's due to physical distancing. They cannot keep a safe distance between each other, so they are canceling the meeting. So if you're looking for the Cache Creek one tomorrow, that won't be a thing, just Ashcroft is going up. The person of the day, I'm going to say, and this is just, again, my own personal list, so if you would also like to nominate someone for the Hub Online Network's person of the day, you can email us here or comment on the video. But my personal person of the day is, and this is a twofer, Stephen Rice and his wife Paulette. They have been doing a great job doing their own videos every day of them doing their greenhouse, which I've been following, so thank you guys very much. You've been keeping me entertained a little bit daily, so that's been great. So if you would like to check out what Stephen and Paulette have going on, they're a couple that live in Spence's Bridge. You can check them out on Stephen's Facebook page. And again, if you're just joining us, give me a call, 250-457-0538. I'd love to hear from anybody and everybody about what's going on. And we might have an update here from Thunder in the Valley. Just 1 second here. I sent them a Facebook message and they just got back to me, and I would love to know what they said. They said, okay, so I asked them about their first race day, which is on May 16th. And of this time, they're saying that it's still a month away and they'll probably have a better sense of things in 2 or more weeks. So they haven't canceled anything as of yet. So if you're hoping that Thunder in the Valley is still going on at this moment in time, it still is, as it has not been canceled. Thank you very much for getting back to me so fast, Thunder in the Valley. Done that. Now this includes my wife. So if you have received 2 payments, so if you have gotten EI and you've gotten the CERB, the federal government will be contacting you because you should not be receiving both payments. Brad Viss and I also talk about that in our interview, which Jessica has linked in the comments of this video. If you received both, one of those is going to have to go back. Keep that in mind. So if you've already spent all the money, but you'll have to be giving something back, I would imagine. They haven't really said what they're going to do, I suppose. But I can't imagine that they're going to let you keep it. So keep that in mind. And so now in provincial news, that's really all the stuff going on around here. There's no real updates from many of the businesses or the councils of the villages. So we're going to move on to some provincial news. So this is a big one for today. So the Vancouver has the possibility of bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy is the term used in the title of the article. When I clicked on it, when I watched the video from the mayor of Vancouver, they didn't actually specify bankruptcy necessarily, but what they did say was that right now, as it is, Vancouver is going to be in a deficit of $61 million. So what that means is every 1% of a tax increase that Vancouver does is $8 million in revenue. And this would be on top of their normal increases. So everything I say is on top of their normal every year increases for Vancouver. So the budget would have to be increased so in order to facilitate this 61 million that they're doing right now, they would have to increase their property taxes by 8%. Now, the other thing that they could do is reduce staff and services, such as they'd have to close buildings, have mass layoffs, not give grants to certain groups or individuals, which they will probably end up having to do anyway. If this keeps going on, by August 31st, they'll be $111 million in deficit, which would be an excess increase of taxes of 14%. Or if this goes on until December 31st, they'll be $189 million in deficit, and they'll have a 24% increase in property taxes. Now, Jessica and I talked about this just before we went on air today, and she said, well, one way that they could do it is they could, just like what Ashcroft did with the water treatment plant and stuff, is space it out over 5 years. So maybe that's one way that Vancouver could pull out of this, so they're not having to do 24% now, but 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. But the mayor of Vancouver was saying that they need help from the provincial government, or when they come out of the other side of this, things in Vancouver will not be good. So my question is, if this is happening in Vancouver, what other municipalities are having these types of struggles? It sounds like Ashcroft isn't having that big of is going to be impacted, but they're not looking at being bankrupt. And it doesn't sound like Cache Creek is necessarily looked at being bankrupt if they're not even having council meetings. They can't be worried about things too much. So, but can Kamloops or Kelowna, or Kamloops Kelowna looking at things like that? So that's something I'm going to be looking into over the next couple of days. But I thought that was an interesting story to share. Now, moving on, another thing kind of like the helpline, if you are home alone and you do not know what's going on and you are scared and you think that just enough is enough, please, you don't need to go through this alone. 1-800-SUICIDE is the BC hotline for you to talk to that our helpline might not be able to help you with. So please, if you know of anyone that is struggling in this time, or if you're struggling at this time, you don't need to do this alone. There are people that are out there to help you. Please, 1-800-SUICIDE is there for you, and let's get you the help that you need. And again, if you're joining us, 250-457-0538. You can give me a call and talk about whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be COVID-19 related. It could be about anything. The Kamloops Youth Soccer has canceled their spring season. I don't know what that means for Ashcroft. I haven't seen anything about the Ashcroft soccer group or the baseball group or any of those team sports events. So if you know anything about that, email us, again, hon@ashcrofthub.com. Give us that information if you can. We will keep trying to find that, but help us out. Now, people have traveled all over the place during Easter weekend. A lot of people were talking about how people are going across the ferries and going across the Alberta border and stuff. But I also saw several reports in Ashcroft and Cache Creek of people congregating in people's homes, lots of cars being at their neighbor's house. So that is not physical distancing. So if that is you, please give me a call and let me know why you think that it was an okay thing to do. I mean, clearly, and I'm going to get to this in a little bit, but Trudeau thought it was a good thing to do. So If you can justify it, that'd be great. You can let us all know why you did it. And if you were one of those people that shared those stories, please, let's keep these people in account and make sure that you tell them if you're not okay with it, that you're not okay with it. Trans Mountain Pipeline delays the pipeline in Kamloops due to COVID-19 pandemic. So that's a big one. Before all of this, of course, was the protests and the closures of trains and stuff due to the pipeline going through. So now it's interesting that they're delaying it due to COVID-19. So maybe those protests had a real impact, and now here we are. Now Vancouver. Wait, where am I? Oh, okay, yeah. So here is my. Oh, what did you guys do? On March 17th, the executive South Cariboo Miners... Oh, thank you, Raven. So, March 17th, the executive of the South Cariboo Miners Soccer Association made a decision to suspend the opening date of the 2020 soccer season. The situation will be reassessed at the end of April and is hoped that play might start in May or June, with the possibility of extending the season into September as in previous years. Referee and coaches clinics have also been canceled. So there is anyone that would like to have the registration fees refunded or who has questions or concerns can email leehand at leehand78@gmail.com. Thank you, Raven, for posting that. Looks like you just beat Jessica to the punch. So the soccer season up to this point is suspended. They'll look at it again at the end of April. Good to know. So this is part of my, where is it here? Aha! The Conspiracy Corner. Dun, dun, dun. So in Vancouver, there was a group of people that held a protest saying that all of this COVID-19 stuff was fake news, not real, this is just a way for the government to control everything that we're doing, keep us inside, and here we all are doing exactly what the government wants. So these people are trying to let you know that that is wrong. So they had a big protest outside of some government buildings in Vancouver. They held a march down a sidewalk. It looked like there was maybe 60, 70 people in the line, not physical distancing, with signs saying fake news and all that kind of stuff. So if you... And they're calling for these protests to happen all across the province in front of your elected officials' constituency offices. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, I'm not advocating that you do it, but I believe it's this Friday. So let us know what you think about those people. Give me a call right now if you'd like. Or if you're watching this after this show goes live, tomorrow we're going back live at 4. Again, we're only going live at 3 today because of the council meetings. So tomorrow and Thursday is at 4. And I'm going to mention now, we're not doing a show on Friday. I have an eye appointment down in Vancouver. So by the time we get home, I won't have time to get set up for this. So we're live today, Wednesday and Thursday, off Friday, but back on Monday next week at full rigmarole again at 4 o'clock. So again, if that's something that you think is just not cool, these people having these protests, or if you support those people, give me a call and let's talk about it. So now we're going to talk about the world and the more federal news stuff. So Trudeau had his meeting this morning. He's said that he's going to have stricter quarantine rules, very similar to what John Horgan said last week, where they're going to be, if you're coming back into the country, if you're a snowbird, for example. I don't know why people are still not back yet, unless you're trapped in a different country. But people coming in, if you don't have a plan set up that you can prove to the powers that be that it's a legit plan, you're going to go home, only go home, nowhere else, then they will let you go home on the sort of honor system. But if you cannot satisfy the government as to what your plan is, then they will then they will put you up in a hotel for your 14-day quarantine. I'm not sure if that's at your own expense or if it's just where they're going to put you. So again, if you're coming home, if you have people out of the country that are coming home, tell them that they have to have a plan if they actually want to come home. So stricter rules and measures. Christopher, those people really need a help. Yes, they do, Christopher. And Raven says, a friend of mine who lives in Vancouver, a healthcare worker, was really upset by those protesters. I bet. They seemed kind of not nice people. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. To me, every day, and I'm sort of talking to Raven and Christopher here, every day that goes by, it sort of feels a little bit more and more and more surreal, this whole situation. It almost feels like it's just not happening, but maybe that's because it's not right in our backyards necessarily. There aren't too many people up in the interior that have it, especially those that, that we know. So anyway, I don't agree with them, but it's weird. It's weird. Other things that are happening. So there is a thing called the Spartan Bio group. So what they're doing is federally, they are coming up with a faster way to have tests. So I was listening to an article, CBC article yesterday, where these Spartan machines it only takes half an hour to test somebody with this machine, but the machine can only do 15 tests a day. So they're mass producing these things through funding from the federal government. Canada is going to help the Northern Territories more to keep their food costs down. So they're going to be sending a bunch of money up there. We have another thing here. I'm taking this very seriously. I am heartfelt for our loss. Every time I go out, I feel I'm at war. Always have a shower after my outings and constantly sanitizing during every visit to every facility. It totally sucks, but trying to do my best to stay inside. Loving the bakery program. Yes, the bakery program is doing very great. And thank you to Debbie Toohey for everything that she's been doing to help people in town do baking, if this is what you're referring to, Danielle. Thank you, Raven. Other interesting things happening in the world today. So this is crazy. So in Newfoundland, there's a trucking company that does most of the. Yes. So Christopher Somner says, I had to miss my father's 75th birthday because I'm taking it seriously. Thank you, Christopher, for taking it seriously. You're kicking butt, man. So we appreciate your sacrifice for that. So in Newfoundland, there's one trucking company that sort of facilitates everybody in Newfoundland. And what's happening now is because they've lost so much revenue from other types of trucking. So for example, they're saying that they would drive cars to car dealerships. Well, no one's sending cars out right now. So they've lost a bunch of revenue for those types of things. And all they're doing is trucking food and gas. And so they're losing $2 million a week because of that. So because they're missing $2 million a week, they're not able to keep up. They can't afford to keep trucking all of the essential goods that they need in Newfoundland. So now places like Costco and Walmart and all the grocery stores and all the gas stations are missing out on their grocery needs, which is crazy. So that trucking company has asked for financial aid from the Newfoundland government, and the Newfoundland government, provincial government, has said that they can't afford to subsidize that particular trucking company. So, I suppose it had to start somewhere. So now they're saying that they need the federal government to subsidize this trucking company to keep all of the routes open and the trucks flowing. So I haven't heard if that's actually happened yet or not, but hopefully they figure it out in Newfoundland. So stay strong, guys. Now the next one is, and this is probably the biggest talking point of the weekend, and this is a twofer. So there is a fake news aspect to this and a real news aspect to this. So what I saw was Trudeau Prime Minister Trudeau went away for the weekend, despite the fact that he's telling everybody that you're not allowed to go anywhere. But he went to spend the weekend with his family at their cottage or something. The story that went around the internet was that they went to the Fogo Islands, and as a family, and they went and did all this stuff and whatever. So the Fogo Island bit was fake news. That was a story from 2016 that went around. So there are pictures of them, but again, that's 4 years old. It's not real. But they did go to their family cottage as a family unit, despite the fact that he's told you, me, everybody else not to travel. You can't go to your family cottage. So the chat's been very active. So if you're on the chat right now, let me know what you think about that as well. And thank you again for everybody chatting right now. This is really great. I'm loving this engagement. And the last world story that I have is the brush fires in Chernobyl. So this is crazy. So there's fires around the old Chernobyl reactor that blew up several years ago. And actually, as a side note, that if you have HBO has a very good 6-part miniseries about the Chernobyl reactor fire. So if you haven't watched it, check it out. It's not necessarily for the first few episodes, aren't for the faint of heart. But if you have a chance to check that out, it's a very interesting watch. But now there's a fire going on right around that power plant, and the fire is burning the grass and reigniting the radiation. So they're looking at possibly having to evacuate the nearby villages and towns because the radiation is getting stirred back up. So I thought it was pretty amazing how all of this stuff sort of comes back around. So that's all I have for the province, for the country, for the world. Of course, there's stuff with Trump, but I don't want to get into that. What else do we have here? So next week, we don't have an official time yet, but we might as well talk about it now. Next week, we are going to officially launch. Now, I know that we've been a thing, the Hub Online Network has been a thing for almost a year. We're coming up on our year anniversary in May, but we are, as part of our contract with how we got started, we have to have an official launch party. So what we're looking at doing is next Friday, so not this week, next Friday, we are going to be having an official launch party with a live video, very much like what we're doing here. But we're going to play some of our old videos, have some people call in, talk about how we got started, why we got started, what we're trying to accomplish, how we've changed, because we have some updates and stuff. So that's next Friday. We're not sure what time of day yet, probably after the Friday update. So keep that in mind, put that in your calendars, and if you would like to call in, we're going to try and get people set up in advance so we can do some video chats. But we also have, while I'm thinking about it, we have a video, before I do any more here, we have another video from Jessica at home. So let's check that out, and I'll catch up with the stuff in the chats and see what everybody's saying. So let's go to Jessica's video.
Welcome to my kitchen. Today for lunch or for dinner, we will be making tacos. Who doesn't like tacos? Super easy recipe to follow. You're going to take ground pork, chicken, beef, whatever ground meat that you've got, your seasoning package and a little bit of water and a pan, mix it all together and you're done. If you don't eat meat, you can also make this using lentils or chickpeas or black beans instead, and just use the taco seasoning to make some yummy, delicious tacos. We're going to be topping ours today with some salsa and avocado and cilantro and cheese, and I don't have any taco shells, and I'm not going to the grocery store just for one thing. So we're gonna make just lettuce wraps with ours today. So step 1, brown your meat. Step 2, add your taco seasoning. Step 3, add a little bit of water. Step 4, let it simmer for 5-6 minutes. Step 5, serve it up and enjoy. All right, our taco meat is all ready to go. How delicious does that look? And it smells so good with the chili and a little hint of lime. It is so yummy. Now I'm using butter leaf lettuce because I don't have any taco shells. And then I've got some cheese, and I've got salsa, and I've got avocado. And I'm gonna give you a little trick with your avocado that I have discovered, that instead of taking it out of its skin before you cut it, just cut it right inside. Cut, and you're done. You've got avocado ready to go. And I've got some sour cream, and I've got a little bit of cilantro. My cilantro's a little sad looking. And I can't wait to just dig in to my tacos. So I don't know about you, but I have to just try a bite here. Yum. Cilantro, just because. Throw some avocado on there. We've got a healthy, fast, yummy meal that the whole family is going to enjoy. And it may not be Tuesday, but I'm still going to have tacos anyway. So good.
Thank you, Jessica, for that. And of course, that is the Hubs fundraiser for the month of April. So if you'd like to get your Epicure on, let us know and we'll get you your stuff. Now, we've had a few comments here. So Raven's giving me some clarification, and thank you for Raven for keeping me on the straight and narrow. So she says, well, I think, and this is going back to Trudeau, well, I think that there are definitely more important things to complain about other than our PM's personal life. Very good point. I think that we have to clarify as well that his family was already there at their family home, the cottage in Ontario, for 3 weeks. Then the PM joined them. So better than driving across the country or entering a small town that can't handle extra stress or on its own health system. So very good point. I will say that it wasn't just Trudeau, it was also the several other MPs that got their, now granted they all have to go to Ottawa for stuff. So I was listening to Andrew Scheer talk about why he took his family to Ottawa on a plane with other people. Not a lot of other people, but some other people. And he's saying that he wanted to take them with him because he wouldn't be able to go home for however long. So it sort of made sense. Anyway, so yes, thank you, Raven. Good points. And yeah, so I've gone through everything that I think I have to go through today. And I think that we can end it at 48 minutes and 30 seconds. I think that's a fair enough long video. So thank you all for watching. Dana has been putting up videos, story readings. So if you have kids, they're sponsored by Bridging to Literacy. So go on our Facebook page, check those out. And again, thank you everyone for all of the good comments and the engagement. That's great. Thank you so much. Keep it up. Tomorrow we are back at 4 and Thursday at 4. Friday we're not doing a show. So see you tomorrow. You guys are awesome. Stay strong, stay at home, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day.